You know when you talk to someone on FaceTime and they do this the whole time? It's so annoying. Hello there, it's Daniel. I am in a hotel room on the east coast of the US. I'm running a workshop here for a couple of days. I'm starting early tomorrow morning. I got here today, flew for about 5 hours across the country, and as always, when I'm on a plane, I have these profound insights. I didn't bring my camera, so I'm here recording on my iPad from my hotel room. So high tech, amazing, and hopefully this is going to work. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, the main idea I want to share today while it's fresh is that in your 30s and 40s, as a man, as a woman, as anyone, in your mid 30s and 40s, a great deal of things start to not matter anymore, and the trap that we all fall into is making them important. This is my thought for today. Maybe it's just for me, maybe it makes sense for you. The impetus for this was I was sitting on the plane, minding my own business, listening to some music, chilling out, as you do, and there was a guy across the aisle from me, directly across from me, and he was on his laptop, and he'd obviously paid for the Wi-Fi, and he was working away, and I was kind of observing him out of the corner of my eye because we're about the same age, give or take. He was definitely like mid-30s, maybe 40s, something like that, and he was grifting, he was grinding, he was working the whole time, man. He was typing emails, he was texting on his phone, he was writing notes down, and he was in the zone, and I was looking at him and I was thinking, man, it's so funny that everything he's done for this 5 hours probably will amount to nothing in several years. And I don't mean that in a negative way because, for him it's probably important, whatever he was doing. I have no idea what his business is. I have no way of knowing. But you realize that he was intensely focused on all these things, and you could see I could see he was very determined, what he was doing, but it was also just kind of pointless. He's answering emails, he's replying to messages, he's doing all these things non-stop, and it was the same amount of time I was there, and I basically was listening to music. I read a book for a while, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And yeah, I mean, who had a better time? I don't know. But honestly, I was like that for almost 10 years of my life, just, working every single moment I could, killing myself to meet deadlines, to get more clients, to make more money, to get more status, whatever. And, all power to those who want to do it. But I realized it actually leads you to being miserable because it's empty. And that's what I'm kind of trying to say here, is that most of the things that you think are important, especially in your 30s and 40s, I think further on in our lives, are not going to be as important as we're making out. And how would I know that? Because the things that I used to worry about when I was 14, 15, or 18, 20, 22, 24, I can't even remember what they were. Whether it was worries at work, whether it was worries with school, a relationship, family dramas, what people thought of me, whatever. None of it is even relevant anymore. I don't even think about it. I don't even remember it. And it's the same thing with whatever we're going through right now, my friends. So maybe that makes sense to you. It definitely made sense to me in the moment, just watching this guy, my opposite, let's say, sitting there working away. And again, he seemed to be having a good time. He was in the zone. I respect the hustle and the grind and everything. But I just thought, is everything he's doing right now, killing himself to whatever, meet deadlines and do all these things, is it really going to matter in 5, 10 years? Now, you could say, okay, he's probably going to, make more money, and he's going to invest that money, and he's going to be rich, and he's going to be successful. And yeah, maybe he will be. Maybe he'll be more than me. But I just know that all the years I spent doing that really amounted to very little more than just having a job, having a career, being able to feel like I was busy or I was productive or whatever the illusion was at the time. I'm not saying this in a negative way. I just think that sometimes, especially in our 30s and 40s, as men in particular, we get caught up in the idealization of our careers and that we're doing something significant with our time and our lives. We're working very hard, we're making a difference, we're changing the world, whatever. The reality is, for a lot of us, we're really not. We're just answering emails, we're typing text messages, we're in meetings, or if we do physical work, we're out doing services and changing people's, whatever, equipment, doing something like that, whatever it is in our lives. Nothing wrong with that again. I just think that sometimes we place too much emphasis on those things instead of realizing that life is to be enjoyed. And that kind of brings me to what I was going to talk about, which is the book 80-20 Principle. So I've read this book, I don't know, 4 or 5 times over my life. I actually bought a new copy a couple of years ago, and you can see I've underlined it a ton of places here. Um, it's very, very true what he says in that book, that only a small percentage of the things you do, that you have in your life, actually matter or mean something to you. A small proportion of the people who are in your life, a small proportion of the work you do, the money you spend, whatever, the difference that you make, it all comes down to a tiny percentage of it. And we think that we need all of it, we need everything in our lives. We actually need very little. And so I kind of was reading that book and I was trying to tie that together with what I was saying here. I think about watching this guy grind. And if you're in that phase of life, all power to you, man. I respect it. I used to be there as well. But I think as you get into your 30s, maybe mid 30s and 40s, sometimes it's worth just stepping back and saying, is this really going to be relevant or important to me in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? And if it's not, and if it doesn't matter, let that shit go. Just enjoy your life more. Just like I did on the plane today. I had 5 hours. I listened to some awesome music. I read a book that I really enjoyed. I talked to the person next to me. I drank a Diet Coke. It was great, and I really relished the trip. So that's my thought for today. Instead of killing yourself to get these crazy results that won't matter long term, maybe just enjoy the journey more, let some stuff go, realize that the 20% of things in your life matter, and that's it.